All right. Yep, I'm back. Okay. Well, thanks, Cookie, and welcome everyone. I hear myself, so let's start that off. There we go. Okay. I'm sure it'll be hopefully not too many other technical difficulties. Hopefully my mic's working. Check, check. I mean, it looks like it's on. We'll see. Let's see. Yeah, how do I do all this? Okay. Yeah, I'm feeling good. I had a nice actual vacation, so doing pretty good. Like last week was last work week was pretty stressful trying to get everything ready so I can actually have a real. I mean, it's still like only like half a week. It was like Saturday to Tuesday, so it's not like wasn't a big vacation, but it was like enough, 3 or so days was enough to recharge everything and refresh myself. So there we go. But yeah, I feel good. Good to see everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm there in Dakota. Welcome to see you guys. It's always good. But yeah, I'm ready to jump back into work and stuff. How you guys been? Hopefully you guys weren't. I always think of the SpongeBob, where like SpongeBob has to leave, and yeah, it's like Patrick. Like, what do you usually do when I'm gone? And Patrick says, "Wait for you to come back." And it's like that lives in my head rent free just so many times. It's just like, I hope you guys aren't like that. Or it's just like, I just gotta wait for you to come back. So, yeah, let's get in here. Alrighty. Yep, I am back. All right. Welcome, Stream Elements. Thank you. Thanks for keeping everything, bot and everything ready for. I don't know. I don't even know what you do at this point, Stream Elements. You're a bot, you're automated and everything, but thank you. But yeah, welcome to everyone. What? Welcome, it's good to see everyone. Hi Cookie, Abner, and Dakota, and bot. Thank you. Is everything going all right? Technically, is all the audio good? Let me know about that. I can fix some stuff while we're here. But yeah, otherwise, good to see everyone again. Everyone else is there. Good to see you. Yeah. Again, I'm doing all right. All good. Thank you, Captain. All right. So where were we? Let's see. Yes, my vacation was to go. Let's see. Then for good air. Thank you. Clear for takeoff. I went on. I did a whole airplane trip. I haven't been in an airplane in like over. Jeez. Last airplane might have been Tokyo, and that might have been like in 2017 or something. So it's been a long while since I've actually traveled like super far, like a big trip. So this is like the biggest trip I've been in like in half a decade or more. So, but it was really nice. It was a family vacation or a family reunion. That's better. Family reunion. So I met up with a bunch of my cousins, some grandparents, and yeah, nieces and whatnots. We had a good range of people. We had some. One person was 85 and one was 13. My cousins are around the same age as me, so around 30s and so. So some haven't seen since I was a young child, and some I've never seen before, ever. So, yeah, it was nice to hang out, do a bunch of. Went to the Midwest, so I'm in the Seattle area, so it's like, oh, I don't know much about all this pop stuff and like what cheese curds and like all this other stuff. It's like, it was weird. All this very regional stuff that's like, okay, a little weird culture shock, you know. You only drive like, you know, fly like a couple thousand miles and it's like you're in a different world. And like you're the same country, but it's like, man, this is weird. How varied we are. Just America, you know. Seeing all that. You know, I'm used to like everything's city and everything's green, and then it's like, oh, yep, we're just really, really flat and lots of farms. So it was very different. But yeah, it was really fun to see everything. Lots of soybean farms. Yeah. But yeah, it was nice to catch up with everyone, especially people, you know, because I'm not really on Facebook, which is where most of everyone kind of communicates apparently. So I haven't been able to, yeah, catch up with any of their stuff. So it was nice to hear for everyone. But yeah, I'm doing okay. So that was really fun. But yeah, ready to get back into this. Hello, Brony. Happy early Father's Day. That's right. So I'm gonna try and finish this animation. Probably work on this for a couple hours on stream, and then I'll work on finishing up. Hopefully before tomorrow. But there will be a lot of work into this, so I can kind of show what I got so far. Most of this is just pre-planning and just kind of layout stuff. You know, I did this last night where it's like, okay, I better make sure that I'm somewhat prepared. So I did all this, just made every element here. This is kind of like a general layout that I usually like in Toon Boom, where I have different blocks basically for different elements here. I'll kind of go over the general story here. What we got. So it'll be Father's Day animation with Sunny and Argyle, Sunny's dad. This will be in the past. So Sunny's a filly, and the dad is telling Sunny some bedtime stories. So we're in our bedroom, and so at the top is gonna be like the main six and like all the different characters for those, and then as Sunny is like imagining, and then she's like playing it along with like trying to imitate like, oh, it's, you know, like how a child is like, oh, you know, it's like, oh, it's the character, let me try and act like them, or, you know, show that I understand or something, kind of play around with it. So like she tries to mimic the different characters and tries to do different poses and try to, you know, yeah, imitate them so to get little different emotions and personalities for each one. These are very basic ideas. I probably will adjust these as we go along, but I'll kind of go through them as we get through saying hello to more people. Welcome, Judd. Hope you're well. I'm doing great. I'm not sure about Twilight, because like I just have like Sunny, just I could probably show it in isolation easier. That like to represent, you know, like a mime, a verb for something like pantomime or something for each of the characters that for Twilight Sunny would kind of be thinking or something. I couldn't think of a gesture for Twilight, so if there's any ideas from you guys, that'd be okay for listening for some of those. Thinking some of those suggestions, but like thinking her head, like tapping her chin or something. But I can't really think of like what Twilight really does gesturally, you know. So, let's see. If Twilight, she just looks up at her. That bubble, she likes her the most, I think. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll kind of go through it so we can understand more. I'm thinking that this would be some sort of like visual, because obviously if you take this out, then it's like you wouldn't really know who she's really mimicking. So it's like I need something like literally just be the actual character. So, what about as an imagination of her? I'm trying to figure that out. I wouldn't think it as a literal thought bubble, but it would just kind of be a visual representation so that it's more ambiguous, I guess. As more just having it be just something to be like a comic book where it's like different panels basically, more than it being. It is sort of her imagination, but it's like it's just kind of like it's almost like showing a different view, like it's showing the page of the book or something. But again, I'm just trying to figure this out, so maybe that could work as it just being a dot bubble. But I didn't want to make little bubbles to make it too. I don't know. I get weird on that. I get persnickety. That is disease. What's the I'm sorry for your loss. There we go. Let's see. I go to his family's house in Arizona for a visit one day. Yeah, for my vacation, we went to a bunch of cemeteries, and yeah, it was more light than I thought it would be. We got like a small group each time, and we went to like 4 or 5 cemeteries actually. So I wasn't super scared, but it's like it's kind of you always think of the zombies coming out when you go there, and I was like, oh okay. So I paid my respects to all my family members, so and my grandma. So yeah, and a bunch of other people that I didn't know because they were like way older generations. But I was like, yeah, so I know how that is now. But yeah, let's see. So this will be a nice little memento kind of video like this. So I'm gonna do my best to make this a little light. So we're still gonna have fun with this. Hopefully there. But yeah. Let's see. So Pinkie Pie, I just thought like she would be Sunny Bean just kind of bouncing up and down. I wasn't sure like how much motion. Like I was like, does she get out of the bed and then start jumping, or does she just kind of bubble up and down and be like wow kind of thing? Again, yeah, these are it's weird to like, because you know what I mean 6 so well, but then it's like as soon as I have to start making fan fictions basically of these kind of characters, like make these kind of stories, it's like, oh wait, I don't know what to do. Like these characters are so established that it's like I don't know how to actually add more onto it. Is weird. Like when I did my Star Fox animation, that was like the only animation I used made 6 for, just because like it's so hard to write for them. I don't know. It's weird. It's like I have a hard time actually making, like I know their personalities, but then like actually making something with it, it's like, okay, I can't get out of my stereotyping of them, you know? Get some Flanderization kind of thing where it's like they can get so one-noted, where it's like, I don't know, Pinkie Pie happy, and then I don't know. And then it's like extend from there. It's like I don't can't think of anything. Opposite is true. Okay. I'm not sure exactly what you mean, Cookie. What part of the thought process we're at? Oh, I got corn. Let's see. Applejack. I don't know. She kind of like tips her hat or something, and then yeah. Let's see. My favorite YouTuber. See you next year. Oh, thank you so much. Have a good day. Thank you so much, my brony. Ooh, thank you. I think that they probably for. I don't know. Huh. Price will write themselves. Yeah, when I wrote the Star Fox one, it's like, and then Rarity talks about gems, and then that's her whole thing, and then I got stuck. And then I don't know, Twilight's the leader, and then she says, "Let's go, everyone." And then Fluttershy is scared, and then she's like, "Oh no, I am scared." And it's like, okay. I don't know, it's hard to write anything deeper than that. Also, she has to sit down, but I guess I can have her get out. I don't know. I only had this idea like a day or so ago of the actual concept. Like I was just waiting for some sort of inspiration to get this whole idea going. So that's why it to me right now it's just so half baked. That's like I'm just trying to make myself figure this out, and it's like I don't know. So this is like the main six. It's like I get stuck. I get like locked in. It's like I don't. Okay, and then Rainbow Dash can fly, so she mimics being flying. Yeah. I guess it's easier with Derpy because it's like I can. She doesn't have a voice or like enough. More of an empty slate kind of character. Does like like Link or something where it's like okay. I can kind of go into like any other thing I want to do, but I feel like it's main six and it's like it's hard to like really branch out. It's like I can't really have Rarity then do something else crazy, It's like no, to choose too posh. I have to like contain her into this small square of like she is this, and then she can't break out of that box kind of thing. So I don't know. I have Sunny here with Rarity, kind of with her hair kind of pumping it up, or like like with the little arm down, being like, oh no, I'm so fancy, kind of thing. I thought this. I eventually got to like maybe this will be fun, and then with Fluttershy, she goes under the covers and tries to hide. I don't know. I'm sure they're fine, but it's like to me, it's like oh, that's not creative as I can possibly be. I have a quote that I made myself that's like your first idea is your least creative. So always good to do several passes on ideas because then it'll eventually like a tree like starts to branch out into like ooh, what about this, and then that becomes more of a interesting and more creative idea. So I was like, this is my first attempt at these kind of ideas. So I was like, I don't know. So that's what I mean. It's like I just haven't had that more than one think over it at this point. It's like okay, and then the horses do the things that a horse would do, and then it's like I can't outthink that. So right now I'm just kind of stuck by myself. It's like I don't have anything more interesting to me, But at least I can expand the timeline a little bit here. Give myself some room. Yeah, let's see here. As we're talking overview with this, my idea is to have the little section up here be want it to be look like an old picture book, like a little golden book. Is that what it's called? Little golden books kind of art style. I know they made some pony storybooks. Let me see if I can just pull it up real quick. You've probably seen it. We just got these. Something like that. So I want to make something with this kind of art style. Or is that going to be like this kind of overly cute, but like it's still kind of detailed or something. So, but I want this kind of like texture or something to it. So I'm just trying to figure out if I want to go through this route. This is not obviously my style of how I draw. This is how I draw. So, I want to make something kind of close to this kind of like they got the little cheeks or something, make it more this kind of aesthetic or something. So, yeah, I'll see what I can do. But yeah, trying to figure out whether or not I just want to use the puppets that I have, the character puppets, and then try to change that. But yeah, oh yeah, I apparently had a couple of these, and couple different stories. I don't have any of these, but it's like it's these kind of always like these kind of very classical, traditional kind of art styles. Looks really nice. But yeah, I don't think G5 just has. Yeah, it just has. Whoops. It's them. It doesn't have the cool classical style that I like. But yeah, that's what I want to go for this. I'm being way over ambitious with this, where we want to have like 6 characters, and then with all these unique style, and then some style I don't know how to do, and then like 6 motions of each of Sunny's animations. And it's like she's gonna do a whole bunch of different stuff, and it's like the dad's also gonna be doing stuff, and I want to do music as well. And it's like I want to do this in less than 24 hours, and it's like what? So unfortunately, right now I'm just kind of feel kind of stuck where I just want to do story stuff. I was like, ah, jeez, I'm just gonna try to figure this out. I guess I can start to get you guys to help me brainstorm a little bit as well. I appreciate that. But yeah, let's see if I can figure out what I want to do. There we go. Just thinking. Just went through like everything. And the thing is that this will also be a loop, so I have to somehow transition from the last one, which will be her underneath the covers. I'll animate it so that she comes back out, and then she'll like listen to. Oh yeah, these will also flip through each page, and then the dad will then start talking or start reading the book. So we should have. This is all interconnected, so I have to have different pictures. I should have a new one of dad with mouth closed. And then flip the page. And then at least I could do this. This is easy. This is just what I want to just happen here. And then we go back to this one. So we have watched over here. And then maybe I want one where he has. I need this hand here. But with this pose, I need a new one, and then I can paste a hand in. So watch over here. So he'll be doing this motion about 6 times then. And kind of get his whoops. Let me just decapitate him a little bit. So I can figure this out timing. And then we would need Sunny to then not be in this pose. She would actually be in listing mode instead. So let's get a new picture. Something like that. Be able to get her to just be like rest mode instead, and then flip the page, and then Twilight Sparkle, and then she has the idea, and then she goes into the pose. So that'll happen for every character. So then we'll have to have a transition into this pose. we'll kind of get some sort of, obviously these won't exactly match, but at least I can start to get this kind of pose. One thing about Toon is that you can't really see it playback in drawing mode, but it'll always play in camera mode, so you kind of cheat it by just moving the timeline back and forth, but it's like, it's still, then you can't see it in real time, so it's like, And then we'll have Dad kind of flap his mouth back and forth, going like, bop, bop, bop. Kind of talking or something, or kind of gesticulating, and maybe like looking over. Then enough to be like, Maybe Sunny. This is where I can think of stuff. Welcome, Sean. Hello. Good to see you. Glad to be back. Let's see. Maybe she can kind of, I don't know what this hand is then. Gotta get rid of it. She needs to like maybe move her arm. Into a more like, you know, like a dunk dunk dunk. Dunk dunk dunk. That. Nope. Select it all. Unselect arm. And then kind of rotate it. So now she kind of leans into it, or I can have it be the opposite way. So let's take that. Kind of take everything. Woo. Till I haven't been animated in half a week or so. Boop. 1, 9. 1, 9. 1. Let's see. Quite like dessert my mom. Very sweet. Thank you. Appreciate it. Oh, she's so cute. And then I don't know if I can copy paste these frames, but let's try this. Oh, I never actually done that because I always thought it would break or something. Do I have this pose but mouth closed with arm? Yes, okay. 1, 7. 1, 7. So I get something like that. Kind of post that away. And of course I could play with the timing of Dad here. Probably add a whole nother. What is that for? So there you go. And so right when he's got to flip the page, we can have Sunny transition back to this. So move that later, and then have a new pose of her getting back into ready to see what's up here. Let's see. Some greens to future. I will start to have her move everything down. Yeah, we're gonna kind of close her eyes. That'd be easier. Yeah. I always find like, I mean, it's a cheat, but it's like it's very useful. I always like to use it. Is to just, if we need an easy transition from one pose to another, use a blink, boop. You know, it creates that kind of like enough of a I don't know, kind of like a blank slate kind of pose to be like, I just need a transition, please. You know, I don't know how to get from this eye to this eye, but it's like, I know I can always just use a blink to like reset everything, kind of things. Let's see. Let's see. Hi, Sean. Seems a lot of challenger creators still in it, though. I would say so. If you're new, it depends on how new you are, whether or not you know Friendship is Magic, the series before this new generation. Yeah, welcome to the herd. We're all relatively all nice here. There always be a bad apple, but it's like, you know, those are always, you know, one in a million or so. Yeah, welcome. There is a whole lot of content for Pony. I've been doing these animations. I use a different program, but it's always the same kind of motion styles and everything. I've been animating for about 10 years. I actually got my start with animating by animating ponies. So this is me just trying to get in the storyboard set up so I can use my character models that I got here. So I made these guys from scratch. But they all work pretty well. I can gotta get some nice squash and stretch here. But yeah, I made all these all by myself, so I can use all these different little bubbles here, these little bubbles, to change all the expressions, and they have all the different emotions and everything set up, so I can kind of just go in and like select different pieces and then just start posing them however I want. So I can just kind of go into just about every piece is rigged. So I can just kind of go in and say like, I want you to be, you know, a little bit deformed here. So I can go into any of these green pieces and then kind of move them around in certain places. And then there's a whole bunch of different ways to animate it. So this kind of style in Toon makes these curved deformers make posing way simple. So I can just kind of go through any of these different pieces and just kind of click the green bubble and then start moving them around. And then have different variations. So I can get different expressions, you know, by just swapping different of these pictures here. Get some blinks by just swapping the pictures. If you're familiar with After Effects, it's almost the same kind of like puppet style, where it's just kind of every different pieces, and then some might have drawing substitutes, so I can kind of change between different exposures of the different, that's a front valve, different pictures here. But yeah, it's all really simple. I mean, it took forever to like set this up, but now that I've got this set up, it becomes super simple to just kind of, you know, I had to like set up these little triangles and then set up like how I wanted to make the eyes work. And don't want to get me started on this node view stuff of here's just a head node view schematic, you know, kind of thing, where it's like every element is organized. But because I set it up, it's all pretty simple and I know where everything is. But yeah, that's just a head. Actually, those were just the eyes, actually. This is every part of the eye, selecting different, each pupil, and then some different, the pieces, the scleras, the eyebrows, the cheeks for both of them, both eyes. That was just the eyes. Here's the head for all different pieces of the hair and skull. And then go to a different folder. We got the body, so for each 4 legs. And then the tail. And then I had some other pieces like these. I had these cardboard wings, or her other wing, and her, that'll be in her head, her horn. So if I wanted to, I can expose this drawing for this cone, and then otherwise it'll be a no exposure, which means it'll be invisible. But it'll still exist, so I can still play with it because it's still rigged with this green cord, connects up to her head. That means if I move her head, it'll all kind of stay in place. So I can rotate her head. So yeah, everything's relatively simple to just kind of go around, and now because I've set this all up, you know, all this structure had to be made by hand, drawn everything. But now I could just go in and be like, oh, here's a bubble, and just kind of move it around however I want. So if I want this eye to move now, boop, okay, you know. So yeah. But thanks guys, yeah. Right now I'm just trying to get back through this storyboard. I'll probably just kind of get through this one character of just Twilight, and then probably call it. Because I don't think I'll be able to animate more than just one character within the next hour and a half or so. So, or just focus on one character. If I could get through one character, that'd be good. Again, I'll be working on this throughout the rest of the day anyway, so I would probably be taking breaks and trying to really focus in on it. So I don't think that'd be much of a good stream. Won't be good content of me just, being quiet and really finagling with the puppets and really making sure that is this head position good? Should I be that, or should it be that, or should it be fuddling with that for hours with those kind of microscopic, trying to figure things out. But yeah, let me just make sure everything's shipshape with how I want this to go. Let me turn off the, I think it's this. Probably also have to make the background set up, or at least that's pretty good actually. I wonder if I want it to be slower. That's what I'm trying to figure out now. Problem is that I'm gonna put this on YouTube Shorts. That's why the aspect ratio is tall. It's basically taking the scene settings. It's taking the 1920 by 1080 and just flipping it. So now it's 1080 wide and then 1920 tall. Because otherwise, yeah, if you flip these, then you get landscape HD. So YouTube Shorts work by having it be the same aspect ratio and same pixels, but flipped it 90 degrees. I have this overlay that I kind of stole, but super useful, as now I can take this. So I took this PNG someone made of their phone that had all the different overlaid pictures and stuff to be like, oh, this is what it'll look like when you're using a YouTube Short. So I took that, green screen or blue screened it out, and then yeah. So thanks that YouTube Shorts overlay. But it's super useful as I'm able to now kind of see where all the buttons will potentially be, and so I know that don't put something here, kind of thing. I also have these rule of thirds, which now work this way now. So I put Twilight in the top third kind of thing. So I'll have her up there. So it's like a weird kind of different kind of panel, like comic panel, where you just got to think about it in a different way than how I'm used to, where some compositions work better, you know, if you lay them out horizontally. But now I'm starting to really make these shorts, you know, made for shorts, and really understanding the verticality of it. I can now think about how can I use the space more effectively, and so I'm using it to have two different panels, basically, by having Twilight and all the other characters up at the top, using this space up here, and then also using the rest of the space, you know, vertically. I know with the Mother's Day one, that could have worked better. It does work better with a landscape kind of view where I had like the four characters in a row horizontally. So they all didn't fit, so I had to use the camera to kind of pan and scan, where you just kind of uncrop things by kind of like moving over and be like, oh no, she's over there, so let's kind of focus on here, or move the camera over here. So trying to think of compositions that now work better with verticality is something that I'm trying to look into. So just kind of using this and get a general gauge of like, don't put stuff literally on this side, trying to move things, you know, if I can help it, try to move things over to like the safe sections, kind of like this whole kind of top left, kind of bottom, kind of corner down here. So I'm just trying to figure that out, you know. Anyway, what am I doing? I'm just trying to see if this speed is good. Usually I make my storyboards too fast, so I'm just trying to see. That happens a lot. That's why my animations seem to be like 1 minute or less. I was like, okay, whoops. Yeah, probably could have had that spaced out a little longer. I probably can have a little bit more space here before it starts talking. And then probably can move this back and then move. I need like another in between, or like some sort of, there'll probably be an anticipation here, and then she goes up into this, which means there might be some more space here. That might be too quick, so let's also so I'm not thinking about it just being like, oh, she needs to be, you know, the speed of it, but I just need to think about the in-betweens that she needs to have her arm, you know. How long does it take for her arm to be, you know, out here to here? That's going to take some time, so I know that this is what I want it to be, but it's like I have to slow it down just a bit so that she can actually get from one pose to another without it being way too quick. See you, Judd. Thank you. Oh, yeah, this can't be one frame. So there's going to be a couple frames here and then back. So that's going to be a little bit longer. This might have to be like... It looks slower now because there's no in-betweens of her kind of going out and then curving it back in. But if I start to really animate it, then it'll work out. So you got to think about it where the extra keyframes will be. Like I'd add all this time that's like, I didn't... All this kind of stuff that's like, oh, well, the storyboard needs to be timed to look good on its own, but it's like I don't have all of my keyframes in here to really understand that. So like I'm trying to think about that and forward thinking. I was like, I need a little bit more time than I think, because it looks good, but it's just like I don't have all the keyframes to know that it can't actually work fundamentally. Okay. Favorite animation I'm done. I think I had a stream a while ago where I did like my personal favorites. Might have to find what stream that was, but because I can't remember everything that I'm doing right now. Let me go back through 10 years of content. Let me see if I can find what the actual stream of that was called. It might have been my 10-year YouTube anniversary. That's a stream. Let's see. Yeah. Yep. So that's one where I go through all of my older content and be like, oh, this is fun. So probably my favorite's probably in there. Would you like a direct link to that? Let's see if this works. I don't know. Watch more of my stuff. Watch me again in another tab. But I guess you can bookmark it or something for later. People still bookmark things these days. Anyway, thanks for asking. I don't have an exact answer for you. You know, they're all my babies. You know, I put my soul into every one of them, so it's hard to really say like, oh well, this one's my favorite. You know, I like them all. It's probably good. And then whoever, yeah, do the next one. Let's do lots of pony. So this would mean that no problem. I will have to have Fluttershy. I should start here. If that's might have to work on the timing of all this, but it would actually start with Fluttershy. She's the last one in the sequence. There's every character at the end of Fluttershy at the end. And to make it a loop, I would have to have Fluttershy at the start here. Because then I see him flip the page over here. And so, at this point, now would be Twilight. Which I might have to start from here on the loop. Ugh. I'll have to figure that out later. Because I wanted to start at like this frame instead of this one. But because I had him do the page flip. Yeah, boy. Oh well. Also wanted to explain that the way that I do my loops is that I have, because YouTube Shorts, they max out at 1 minute. So at the 1 minute mark, that means that I can't have a video longer than a minute. And so if I wanted to loop, I would need to have this frame and this frame be basically identical. But sometimes I like to do a little sneaky technique where in the video itself, I only have the actual animation of the loop only last for 30 or so seconds. So this will only be 30 seconds. And so this is the same animation that then in the 1 minute then does the same thing. So I essentially have the same video of animation twice in 1 minute. And so in here, I'm able to, in my video software, be able to do an exact splice of this frame and this frame so that they're exactly the same, so that when it repeats, so that when 1, 2, 1, 2, so we get it in and out, that means that I can get an exact loop here, and so it'll be exactly seamless. So there'll be no, the music can like kind of be in exact loop from here to here, from the start to here, and also here. So this will be a nice, how do you draw it? Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Just want to draw it. Let me just, hang on. Does anyone in chat have a good FIM animation show? What? Episode? You guys like? I know when I like started in season 1, so it's kind of hard to, you know, have you, you know, logistically sit down and watch 9 seasons at this point. But I'm sure there's some top episodes that people like. But of course, you need to, like, you know, there's a fan service episode midway through the series. So it's like, kind of have to watch, you know, 4 or so seasons that build up on that, as well as the general community at the time, what they were making memes about with different characters. So that's my personal favorite is the 100th episode. But obviously to have it recommended, if you haven't seen the rest of it, it probably won't make as much of an impact as if from knowing all of that, being you have to be there kind of thing. But otherwise, I think the first episode I watched was episode 2, just because I messed up. And then first one I got recommended was Cutie Mark Chronicles. Cutie Mark Chronicles from season 1. That kind of goes over every character and like these Philly characters that these young girls as they try to get their cutie marks, which doesn't make sense because they don't really talk about it that much in Gen 5. So I don't know. But anyway, with this, I'm able to make sure that if I have the animation less than 30 seconds, that means I can have a perfect loop in the middle, and then just hope that when it gets to here after a minute, that when that loops back to here, I just kind of hope that still works. But it's kind of looping animation. So that's the way that I usually like to do these now. With these YouTube shorts, with this weird limit at 1 minute, means that I have to get more creative and like make sure that when 2 goes back to this one, that it's the same frames as this style. It's hard to explain, but it's like, yeah. That means that this has to be 30 seconds or fewer. Hip. So, yeah. That's what I'm trying to figure this out. It's like I need to make sure that this timing here of about 130. So, let me get a calculator. That's a calculator. Boop, 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 boop. 130 divided by 24. So that's already about 5 seconds there. Actually, it's 130 minus about 20 frames. Yeah, about 20. So minus 20, it's 110 divided by 24. Now it's about 4.5. Okay. If I have 6 characters and I want them to be exposed for about 30 seconds, that means 180 times 24. Does that make sense? I don't know. I lost track. Complexity? Let's see. How complex some of the plots might get over 9 seasons. The plots are either, you can think of it as like seasons, like every season has its own branching story, or like over narrative kind of thing. Arcs. Like season 1 has an arc where over multiple episodes they talk about a gala, like a big party. And so every 5 or so episodes, it's like they talk about a gala. And then at the very end, they go to the gala. So I was like, yeah, that's cool. So that's kind of how every season's kind of set up. There's definitely no, Game of Thrones or any kind of like something really complex, like it's a pony show. They won't get more complex than something like that, where it's like 8 and 9 kind of get a little bit weird. Some of them I didn't actually understand some of them overarching story plots. So I was like, oh, what's going on? But yeah, they don't get more complex than there's a villain and then, oh no, we gotta fight him, and then ponies win, and then we move on. Yeah. Oh, definitely, that's a good one. The first Discord episode, yeah. They got some pretty good big names. Like we got Weird Al, Patrick Stewart. It's like a whole bunch of like celebrities for like 1 or so guest episodes, and they're great. But yeah, Discord is John Delancey from Star Trek playing his Q character. Like pretty much it's just Q. So it's G4 definitely leads into a lot of like being a fandom. Like it was very 2010s to like have like it's a reference. Get it? That's the joke, is that we made a reference, It's very 2010s kind of humor where it's like, you know, early internet where it's like, whoa, is that a reference? Wow, I am RFL, you know, L, you know? It's like, okay. Of course, nowadays, it's like, it's, what is humor anymore? Like, it's all generated. I'm going to go ahead and start. Should I work in the background first? Probably. I just don't want to get too far into this and not know what I'm doing. Yes, you're right. Yeah, cheese sandwich is the character name. And yeah, they have a mini cheese in the last episode. Yeah. I'm just gonna set up some stuff. Let's get some nodes here. Not gonna make everything right now, but at least I can start to kind of show how this works. Let's get a very basic. I think this works. It's weird that it puts them over here, but at least I can untangle them. And Weird Al's character is just Weird Al, so it's like, it's really great. He has like 3 songs in one episode. It's like a recurring character, like I think you hear like another time. Like one other episode. So, yeah, let's see. So I will quickly blaze this out. Let's get new. I like having a mix where I can kind of change the art style between like the characters versus the background. Kind of like how I did it with the Mother's Day animation, where I had it be the kind of pony life, kind of 50s, 60s kind of cartoon style, where they had like an outline around everything. Like it would be like if I had an outline here to this shape, but then you offset the outline ever so slightly, and so you get these kind of interesting kind of, yeah, it's kind of like overlapping, but it's like kind of floating kind of outlines. Really like that style, so I'm glad that Pony Life did it, so I have an excuse to be like, well, no, you know, my outlines aren't weird, they're just drawn that way, you know. I was like, whoops. Okay, let's hide the wall. Let's get the bed. Okay, so I think I'll just sketch it and then figure this out later. Good thing about Toon is that it has real nice drawing, good drawing feel to everything. So now it's just up to me actually drawing well, which is its own problem here. I know that camera probably won't go that far. Okay. Or I can probably just make it a little bit lighter. Let's make that a little darker. Let's make it maybe like something like that. Not going for anything fancy right now. What I will need to do is figure out what this color is, and then go into bed. Favorite villain? That is a good one. They're all really good. I think Chrysalis, there's like a bug queen, and she's really really cool. Yeah, the fun thing is that they like to, because the whole message of the show is friendship is magic. So like when you get antagonists, it's like, well, you know, you gotta love your neighbor kind of deal. So it's like, well, are you sure you want to be evil? And then it's like, we'll show you, you know, the power of friendship by like making you be our friend now. So they reform basically every villain. And it's like, okay, you know, I know you wanted to rule over the world and everything, but yeah, we'll just you're our friend now. Tag along with us. Be part of our friend group now. Definitely Trixie is really fun. Like a unicorn wizard. Is just all, I don't know how do you describe it, like not really selfish, but just like being full of herself and just being like, I'm cool. Look how cool I am. Self-centered kind of thing. But she's got a fun personality. I like those kind of like Peridot, you know, like CV Universe kind of characters where they're like just so like their whole mentality is just like built on being a villain. That then it's like, well, now you're part of the friend group, so now it's like, well, can't really know. I don't really know what being a friend is now, so it's like, I will awkwardly try to, you know, do friend things with you. And it's like, you know, really, that's not what friends do. What are you doing? we don't do that here, you know. And it's like, oh, okay, I didn't know. Like those kind of characters. You're trying to best, but it's like, you know, what are you doing? Okay. That's all to say that I just wanted to have something to have as a background. So I can show my characters again. I made these, beep boop. Made these little functions that are completely different blue from all the other bits here, but it just means that it has extra coding. So that creates this little checkbox. And so that this talks to this composite, so I can turn red. So that's going on there. 7-9, yeah. 9's kind of its own thing. Let's get separated. I'll get back to here. So I want to set this is a top-down view. So now I can put everything into space. So I can literally put the wall behind everything. If everything's here on this plane, and here's the camera, we're looking into the distance, so I can put the wall way back there. Probably have it a little bit closer. Let's see. Boastful. There you go. Haven't seen a performance. I know. I always liked magicians like growing up, so I wanted to be a magician when I grew up. No, I'm sort of doing it. I'm doing some weird illusions for you guys where it needs making you care about these pictures. So it works out. Don't have to play it with seeing it here, but at least it's easier for you guys to understand what's going on. So I get a little bit more consistent here, so I can move this part behind Sunny a little bit. That's the storyboard there. So I can put there. And now we got pretty good layering. Probably want to play with Argyle here. Let's see where he is. All of his pieces should be a little bit behind. So actually that's pretty good. And then Sunny's about the same. So there we go. So now if I move the camera, I should be able to see. Grab it. Yeah. Make sure nothing too parallaxy as anything's breaking right now. So that's good. Go into perspective mode. Yep. Okay, good. Did something. Okay, cool. Let's go back here. Okay, so now I can start to work on this. I can finally start to maybe, I don't know, at least pose them in a way. Okay, so make sure I'm on the right frame. Because otherwise, this is my setup of the characters to expose every part of their drawing substitutions. So I can put her into a nice happy position. And then play it forward. Okay. Let's play with the scale a little more. See if he's about in the right position with my storyboards or so. And all right. Okay. How we doing? It's been about an hour now. I think I'm just starting to touch the puppets, so oh well. Do. Favorite is Pinky Pie Sun. I'm not trying. It's hard to pronounce that. And sunset. Very good. Hello, Vlogger. Welcome. How am I doing? Pretty good. Doing well. Didn't have as much jet lag as I thought I would. After my little 4-day vacation. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm gonna hide this bed cover. I'm gonna pose her into a sitting position or so. Let's see. Do. Oh no, yeah, don't be afraid to be like, if you like background characters, that's Pony's bread and butter. My avatar here, Derpy, is a background character. At least she started that as a background character, and like she eventually, got very popular. That then she became just another character basically in later seasons. Where some jokes were just like, she's kind of has her own personality that was kind of built from the community, kind of thing. So it was really cool to see. I was like, wow, that's my favorite background character actually getting some spotlight. Wow, that's so cool. So if you like Octavia just for being a background character, that's perfectly, that's what we're here for. Will I need back legs? Probably not. Probably just go through and the thing is I'm not actually deleting these pieces when I do it. I'm like deselecting their exposure. I don't know how to explain it. There's like an exposure sheet that's like kind of sets up what frame of the drawing substitution is being exposed. So every element has a drawing substitution number, and so I'm just setting up which one it is that's being exposed. So by setting it to 0, it still exists. I can probably just still move it around like this, but the actual drawing of it is gone. I don't know how to explain it better. Let's see. Cool. Best characters outside of main 6. I know. Main 6, meh. Again, it's hard to, at least for me, to write anything good about them. Or write anything worthwhile, I guess, about them. So I get stuck into fantasization with the kind of characters too. So I was like, I don't know. And then the Pinkie Pie does things happily because she is the happy one. And then it's like, I don't know. But look at her go. She's getting tucked in. I'm tucking her in. Hard part is now I have to draw a couple different pieces for this. If I get back to my head cover here, I need to set up her legs, arms. Let's see. Is your opinion what is Derpy is doing these days? Oh, these days? Yeah. I know in like season 1 they like try to They didn't really. They tried to like establish the world and everything, and be like, oh look, now we're in Appaloosa, and it's like cool. And later on, they had like, we're just in, I don't know, Las Vegas. I don't know. You know, they try to make it like more fantastical, and then it's like, you know, it's like, oh, it's Canterlot. Wow, that's cool. And it's like, whoa, okay. And then it's like, yeah, well, we're not really trying as hard. It's you know, it's just a place that you would know. Oh well. Yeah, they're all based on America, or I guess Canada as well. But yeah, they're not. What if I can? I would need to layer that. That doesn't work. I might have to add a cutter or something. Oh, look at her go. I would need to. No, I need to. What's that if I do this? Then her arms a little bit darker. I need that to be darker. Let's make it like. Even still, if I do this at -10, it's still not gonna fix my problem here. I gotta think about this. Hang on, this layering, it's broken. It needs to be above. What is it? I just have to like turn this off then. But then it's just gonna be 0. And then you just pretend that no one's gonna care about this. Ooh. Oh, I think I'm frozen. Oh, okay, we're good. We're good. Okay. So weird thing is that her arm here is above. This needs to go kind of like wrap around her, maybe. Problem is that I'm trying to wrap, you know. I could do the Bongo Cat. Bop, bop. Bop, bop. And then do it. Oh, bop, 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 bop. Okay. So what I can do is now grab eyeballs. Here we go. Okay. So it's not too hard. Here we go. Okay. Get rid of that. Sure, she's in bed. Okay. And then the bed, I think I wanted to add a little detail over the top. Or I can add little indications to be like, this is where little folds. Indications to be like, oh, this is where the bed's kind of ruffled up in parts, you know? And to kind of say like where her legs are. Think of where all folds are. Obviously, this isn't Picasso or anything. I don't know. Just enough to say, like, oh, this is where it's bunched up. And there we go. Okay. That adds realism. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Thanks, Cookie, for helping me there. With these questions that I'm slowly reading through. Yeah, Derpy should still be, well, in G5, she's probably not. She probably hasn't made it. There's like one character in G5 that kind of looks like her, at least somewhat. So I was like, I want to believe. Yeah. She's putting on it. Putting that to make herself more sophisticated. You know, it's been so long that it's probably, you know, that sounds about right. Just gonna, I don't know. think I want to move his body a little bit. I could probably just kind of do some. There's so much code and like someone spent like months trying to perfect like all this and like debug, like this 2-point constraint to make sure that it works for everything. And I'm just like, I don't know, I'm just making them dance. That's what it's for though. Obviously, this makes it super easy to squash and stretch, because it's literally just doing that. So, woo. Okay. And so we will. So what I wanted to do is kind of have him be a little bit perched up, and then have him read from his book, which gets to this point. I should make the book. How are we doing on time? Okay. I will. This is where, like, for me, Toon Boom isn't quite set up the way that I want to. I probably want to put in some sort of, what's it called, where like you put into some sort of suggestion or something, like add to a suggestion box and say like, for your next, 2024 release, can you put a keyframeable peg connection? So what I want is, with animation, I want him to have it so when at some part of the animation, I want him to hold the book with the hand and then parent the book to his hand, but then when I move the hand, then the book moves. But then halfway through, I want him to disconnect so that they become independent. So I want to break up a parent-child relationship halfway through an animation, and it's like, apparently that's a no-no with this kind of rig setup. Because if I, halfway through say like, oh, I want to cut this cord, then for the entire animation, then it's not going to get this information at all. So it's a all or nothing kind of thing when you connect these up. And it's like, everything is going to go to this connection, and this is how it's going to work for the entire thing. So you can't really go back on it or be like, oh, I want this kitty mark to be connected to this neck instead of this connection. And it's like, if you want that while you're animating, it doesn't work like that. So you got to do some, real thinks ahead, where it's like, okay, how do I want to do this? And it's like, well, you simple as that, you don't. So Toon Boom's amazing, but it's like that's still like the one thing that's like, why can't I why can't I do that? Probably need to make a new draw hand. I probably just need to cut off his hand. Need to cut his hand. It's for the best, but it's like, yeah, I probably need to do that. I need to put the book so that when I move the hand, this hand, it'll connect. So I can connect it to this hand. So it'll be positive with the drawing, the peg transformation information, connect to the arm, connect to the body, and so that when I move the body, then that'll move everything else below it, which will be also the book. So let's draw a book. Okay. Where that is. Okay. Okay. So when drawing these kind of props, I probably want to draw it in the most flattest or generic. Probably need a couple different pieces because I want the book to animate. I want the pages to animate. So I'll just draw something at least just real quick for now. I'm not sure if I need to like move the, if I need to move this or like change the angle of this or, see what's up here. I can even see what this is. I need to make it red or something so I can see it here. Repaint. repaint. Why is it filling in? Anyway, that is wrong angle. Why is it? Is it rotated? Oh, am I rotated? Nope, peg bar's at the top there. Oh, arm is rotated. If I move arm down. Haha. Okay. At least I know why. But that's annoying. That means I gotta draw this at an angle, or I don't know. This is why it takes forever to animate anything, just because it's like, wait a minute, how do I do this? It's always trying to figure this out as I go along. It's always gonna be something. And then I want this book to be the one that you see in the first episode, so that's why I just draw it with the simple horse head here. I'm just gonna see if I can find it. Haha, did. Okay. It's some fancy looking, bejeweled looking horse. And then it's got nice and stars and stuff. Okay. Obviously I'll fix this in post. I guess I can put a couple pages. And then it's kind of tricky by having, when I do the page flipping, wow, it'll just kind of meld into the last page here. So it'll be there. Oop, hello, thank you. Oh, Shanky. Welcome. Welcome to the club. I will have to have another drawing here. Book page. So this could have its own peg, but I don't think I'll need it, but at least I can have it. And then hook that up to there and then get exposed. So the way that I did this means that this book drawing is controlled by this book peg, and then by having this extra picture here with this peg, but by connecting this peg into this book instead of directly putting the book onto the arm peg, that means that whenever I move book, then page will also move. And so that just makes it a little bit easier to figure this all out. It means that I get more direct control by moving the whole book as a unit. That if I need to move the book, that means that the page will, no matter what, also follow along. That when I do transformations, emotions. So anyway, book page. So I'm gonna draw it inside of the book here. And then I'll expose both of these. Actually, just the one, obviously. Yeah. And then have a new, I have to make the background longer. No. Nope. Important thing isn't to be wrong, but at least to know what's right and be able to fix it quickly. It's good to fail fast and be like, okay, that was wrong. Okay, what do I do to fix this? So I need to have the page always start over here. Just kind of get this kind of flip around. So it'll kind of be, what, it should be longer. We're at an angle. Boop, boop. And then we just flip this around. I wonder if I can just beep. and then just move it over. Literally just took the drawing information that I had and just kind of flipped it. Okay. And then it's kind of milled into this page way over here. And then it basically just disappears into here. And then it's gone. So I get this nice little kind of thing. Okay. Okay. So what do? I probably need to fix the book drawing first, but I don't want to do that right now. At least I have something that I can use for later. Okay. I'm just gonna move around from here. Problem is that the book is rotated, so unless I no, I can still do this. I can add a keyframe to the book and then change the pivot point to be the middle, and then just rotate it. Okay, the book needs to be on top, so I'm playing with depth here, just to move it on top. Thinking about where I want that. So I do need to move this so it's over here. Move the arm and move it back into this position. And then make a new arm drawing that will be the opposite. I had to recolor it. I'm using a color override to change the color drawing, because I realized that it gets complicated, but like the palette colors of the two characters are using the same color ID palette, and so I was like, well, let me just start to like recolor every single object, you know, a different color, and then rechange that back into a different color. And it's like, oh yeah, that'll work. And then I was like, oh yeah, see, if I use a different color palette, they both become the same color, so that now Sunny is using Argyle's colors. And so it's like, oh, that's a problem. So let me go back in and like change one of them to be unique colors. And it's like, oh, okay, let me try that. And it's like, okay, that's a bit of a process. Then I realized that, oh yeah, I can use a color override node and then change Argyle's colors, this color override node, pick a few of Sunny's colors here, then change it into Argyle's colors over here, and then that fixed it. But I was already like halfway into like coloring somebody's in. I was like, oh well, might as well use those that I made there and change those out. So in theory, I could change these back into here and then recolor that. Okay. Arm. Yes, this arm. What I want is to kind of slice it at a point. And have it round out. Remove a couple of this geometry here. And then have this arm get on. It can't be on top unless I move this book below. So I need to move this below the arm and then get to the arm and then move everything above it. Yeah. Okay. So now arm is on top, and now I can move the book with the arm. So that's what I wanted. I can still sort of rotate the curve to form the arm here. So I can still do that. I think I want to make it a little bit shorter. And obviously not as wide. So I'm just making this little stump to like change the drawing to make it conform a little better to the pose that I want. So now it'll look like he is holding the book. With this little arm stub. So kinda like when you wrap your hand around the book to kind of hold it in place, kind of get something like that. There you go. Okay, so we'll do this with the other arm. Because this arm is not connected, this means that this one can move to move the pages, or at least kind of have it go back and then pretend that it's moving. I don't have to have the arm exactly move the page itself, but I can have the pages move and then they do their own thing and then the arm comes back. So that'll be independent. This is where it gets, you know, obviously that's complicated, but it's like, It's probably as soon as you start doing like props, then it's like, whoa, okay, yeah, Because the characters kind of having to play around with all these different pieces here. It's interconnected stuff that's like, sure. So now it's not just like the complexities of the character puppet itself trying to at least work with its other pieces. Is like, okay, now you want that to work with some other completely disconnected thing and have that somehow also work. And it's like, oh, okay. Turns out I had this all the time. Cool, okay. I synchronize those together, but maybe I want to add another that is the flip opposite. Boop. And then moving down or up. I hope this still works. A little hard to see, but it's kind of changing the pose of it. So it'll look like if I have enough overhang here, then it'll look like it's kind of going around a little better, wrapping around its arm, wrapping its arm around it. Probably need to fill in the book so you can see that a little better. So I will go to lower and it's find a new color. It could be, I think it's brown. Let's go for that for now. Okay. And then obviously that page needs to be not there, but up, 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 up. There we go. Okay. Getting there. Okay. Whew. Let me breathe for a little bit. Let me figure out what's next. I want to have his body be a little bit lower. I want to take his whole, I want to move his butt down, but I'm wondering what's the best way to move that down. So I can take his whole leg and just kind of move each of these in sequence a little bit here. And then his torso, torso's pivot point is on the butt, so I want it to actually be on the other side. And then rotate this down and then have it fill roughly there. Gonna take this and then take the head. That's how I can kind of rearrange his segments here. Problem is that his OGL controllers are a little bit low. So if I go back through and find them, I can move them on top switch so I can see them, and then I can pose them how I want now. They were too low in space behind everything. Okay. Boop. There we go. Get in there. Background. Yes, in front of everything will be the what do I want to call it? What would you guys call it? This little section up here, this little vision kind of character pony background. I don't know what to call it. Oops. Peg it up. Not that it's gonna move, but at least I can have the option to move it. Alright, let's do it anyway. Okay. Let's get this cream and then play with it a little bit. Get this kind of neutrally color. Beep. Might be too bright. So maybe I can play with that. Okay. And then with top depth, I could play with its visual depth, and so I could move it in front of everything. But obviously that moves it in front of everything. So maybe I could move it. For now, I'll probably just put it in the back so it'll be behind everything. This is like a hierarchy of everything, going from top to bottom. Saves all these pieces and drawing pieces I had to draw. I only had to draw some pieces once and then just duplicate it for the other character, but that's just about everything. Okay. So when I turn that on, render it, I get this. Yay. Okay. So now that most of that is set up, we might be able to maybe start animating. Unless I realize that some of these pieces are gone. So I will have to have them be exposed for a wee bit longer. What disappears is book. Please. Let me grab the book. Okay. Okay. Obviously. Oop. Okay. Looks cool. Thank you. Whew. Okay. I would say the speed for a lot of this is not right. But getting there. Probably should have another function for this. Let's do BK comp and then select it. I don't know if you can see it at the top. This little function button here, disable node, this one, and say BK show. And then put it in the top composite. I don't know if anyone got that. Okay. And then leave all these functions. Looks big. What is the layer properties for this guy? 0.4. Where'd you go? Frame 1. Or not. Okay. Let me grab you. Yeah. Okay. So this allow me to. What is it doing? It's technically working. Because I was just on the wrong frame. There we go. So now I can turn each of these individually off. So if I want storyboard, if I want characters, and if I want the background. So if I want a combination of any of these now, I can do that. So if I want, if I want storyboards and characters, I can do that. But if I want storyboards and backgrounds, or, yeah, you get it. So I will like these two. Okay. I think I want to change the color just a little bit. For no reason. Cool. Okay. So remove these frames, don't need them, as I will need them in just a second so I can see the, when he actually starts to flip it, will be here. What's cool with Toon Boom is that I can see the book and Argyle's timelines at the same time. I used to animate in Flash, and so I got so used to like nested symbols and not being able to see between different timelines. If you put like an eyeball as its own symbol, you know, and then if you had like a symbol that like puts nested information, animation, timeline. What am I saying? I'm so tired. That if you wouldn't be able to see the alternate universe's timeline just because they're differently nested. So I like how Toon Boom works is that I can select on 2 different layers and then filter everything else out, and then I can literally just see only these 2 layers timelines now. So if I want this and I want this, I can just flip back and forth now, and then I can see between my drawings to see what's going on between each other. But Flash, it's not exactly a thing I can do. So I can see that he ends there, and then I can just kind of time that up. So I can kind of get to here first, and then see what number I'm at. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then see. It ends here, but so I might need to add just 1 frame here. Why would I put this on 2s actually and see how that looks? Let's make this a little faster so I can kind of ease this out in. This is too long there. Alrighty, we got 1 motion animation. So no storyboard. And we got book flip. Yay. Okay. Okay. That's one thing. Let me turn these guys off. So what I see here is that not Twilight, Sunny is looking up, and then have him be a little bit more interested in his book, and then look down a little bit more. Let's have Sunny be be more interested is that she needs to like sit up a little more, so I can grab this one. Maybe need to play with some parts here, because now I know that she'll be sitting up in this position. So I move these closer to where I want it. That's better. So I can kind of lean her into this now. Kind of look into here, and so it's hard to get that arm arms would need to be leaning into it, being like... Does it ever look like she's leaning into it? Is that you have to lean everything else backward? To kind of move these back a little bit. And to lean her into it. I hope so. This is a good idea. For what exactly? I just don't want to go off on something that I didn't understand there. Let's see. Oop, wrong button. I will move some of these guys closer. Yeah. Okay. How are we looking? Yeah. Getting into it. This little hair thing. Not sure if I... Oh, does she have a little bit? I'm noticing that there's a little hole in her hair. I'm wondering if I can either patch that up or see if I can do anything about it. Oh, interesting. So why is there a hole? Yeah? Oh, is it a cutter on the other ear? I think I've had this happen. Hair, ear, hair. Hair is getting a cutter from this ear. This ear doesn't need to exist. So if I remove this ear, let's see if this hole here goes away. Yeah, I've had this happen with these puppets. Because in the front view, that's how it works a little better by having it cut the ear. Probably should do this with, yeah, you can see a little hole here. So I will fix him by, at least I have a way to fix it by moving his back ear. Boop. Yeah, okay. Okay. Better to fix it now than later. Okay. That means I don't have to worry about that anymore. Okay. What are we doing? Just about that. Okay. Let's see how much that we can do. Oops. Let's get more music. There we go. Don't need that too much, as I'll be playing with the characters now. The puppets. Don't need to be drawing too much now. Let's add. So she goes into this pose here. She could have a blink, but at least she just needs to start moving around here. So between here to here, this is what I mean, like I'm just barely moving her. I doubt I moved her. Apparently not enough. That's a bit much. Clear that out, and then we transition her into her pose here. Sometimes I like to change my position of my storyboards just so I can see them at the same time. So what I'll do is just add a peg there and then just offset that. I will turn off this. Okay. So this is my SB offset P. My storyboard offset peg. And so if I ever need to kind of move things around without having to also, you know, move it. It's so I can see, oh man. If I add keyframes in it, it'll hard code it into being like a specific position. So if I have an extra peg, I can kind of disable it or enable it, whatever I want to. And of course I can have it on everything, so I can do that too. I just want to turn some of these other pegs off here, so I can just focus on Sunny for now. So I can do this, and then without having to add an extra keyframe, you have it there. And so this obviously makes it a little bit easier to now see what I'm doing. Problem is that that is below, but not a problem with my offset, so I can put her literally on top. And so this is obviously way easier now to kind of visualize what's going on here. Okay. How long going? Almost about 2 hours. And I'm gonna work on this the rest of the night. But I'm wondering, don't want to leave it on a cliffhanger, but at least I can kind of get to maybe like this point again. Sorry, I didn't get too far, because I have to explain everything, but instead of everything up, I kind of showed just like there is a process to this. You know, it's not just like I have an idea, I'm gonna animate it, and then upload and done. Give me likes. You know, it's kind of like I need to figure this out. Like this is, you know, it's a whole little puzzle to figure out. Like, how am I gonna do this? Feels slow. Maybe I can do that faster. Probably just squish it down faster and then stretch it out, but then just kind of have a little bit more easing into or ease out to it. So I can just kind of hip, hip. Yeah, see, it completely changes it by, I was like, make it a little bit too smooth as an arc, like, instead, I redid it as a kind of thing. Much more ease out. So I got a bigger motion, but I was able to ease it a little bit better. So now I can now do extra layer to this by having it be now her head. By tilting it down, we now get a little bit more motion into it. Okay, now we add another layer. It's that her neck wasn't connecting with her hair, so that's what I'm doing here. Okay. And then we'll see what her hands are doing. This arm will be the star. So what happened there. It just started to fall off there. See that their neck kind of goes inward a little bit here, so I probably want to follow that kind of logic as well. Yeah. Okay, and then now I got some sort of a blueprint. I can now kind of play with these deformers. And then curve it to get a different pose. Something like that. Other arm. Just kind of listably, I don't know. Just kind of just kind of rotate, I guess. Kind of just make sure it's not doing its own thing too much. Okay, and then expression. So see all that I just did with the body motion, like there was nothing for eyes yet. So I want to go back a little bit, and I can do a small dart just by adding a little bit here and there. Have her slightly change her focus, and then help her keep her alive. And then during the big motion, we'll see which one of these does my blink. This one. So I will type it where she is the most down, around here, and then close her eyes. And then when she goes back up, she'll open her eyes again, and then she'll be in a different position. Her eyes will be in a different position. She'll have a different expression, and her mouth will change. Simplest will be to swap this. And then I find the hardest part is trying to make sure that the eyes don't derp. I'm so used to like, well, I don't know, just kind of make sure that they do derp for derpy. So it's kind of hard to like make sure that they're not. Probably don't want to quote me on this, but like I find it easy to kind of make a straight line between the eyes. Is that if you can make like a line between these, then like some sort of a line, then you'll be good. Make sure that they're kind of similar amount of space of eye to reposition these. It's kind of just a feel kind of thing to make sure that it's like, oh, maybe it could be lower. It's kind of hard to get these kind of positions, make sure that they work. And sometimes I won't. And it's like, oh, okay. So I can see kind of get it, then people will get it. I can kind of see what my kind of expression is, and then maybe get a... As soon as I do any of these, it's like creates a completely different expression. Where it's like, maybe this is the one I want, but if I do this, now she's angry, you know? If I do this with this, then that's sad. If I do that, maybe she's more thinking. So, It's kind of fun where I get to play around with this. And okay, thank you. I'll get this going. This will be the last thing. There we go. So that's one motion. Now I just got to do this for everything else, and especially with Argyle as well. But hopefully that explains this somewhat of how I do this. So, yeah. Thank you guys so much. This will take a while. I don't know. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot to this where I want to do. If I reset everything. Sort of that. Why is she over there? Oh yeah. Yeah, because what do I want to do? I want to do storyboard. Turn off sketch. But also background. So I guess yes. So I could have one for basically every character. And then eventually the other characters. Let's see. Where do I have my... Let's see. Thank you, Cac. Hopefully you guys aren't just the YouTube Shorts people who are just now watching some of my videos. But anyway, thank you. Cac929, thank you. So we'll have one for Twilight, one for Pinkie Pie, Applejack, Rainbow Dash, Rarity, and Fluttershy. And then somehow wrap it around back to the beginning to get Twilight again. So those will be very ambitious. Yeah, I'm probably have to just like sit down and really focus. Like you saw, like I had to focus on just that one tiny little animation I did with just her background. Just that. So this is gonna take a bit. Yeah, and I'll figure out how I want to go about these visualizations. Yeah, a lot of this is still up in the air, unfortunately, but I'll figure it out and then hopefully get it done by tomorrow. Also, want to do some music and then maybe some sound effects. I don't know how much. Maybe the page flipping sound effects and yeah, some other post stuff too. I'm probably, yeah, hopefully if I don't go overboard with this much further, I won't be doing too much post-production. Because I was thinking of even like doing some shading, you know, because this is going to take place at night, so I could just do a whole thing of somehow doing some sort of a brightness, contrast, and then feed all of them into here, these guys. Or not. I'd have to do a new composite background. Oh, there we go. And then I can do just brighten it down and then have more contrast. I don't know. I have to do like a tint or something. But like I can artificially darken it or something, or like do some tinting or something. I could do color curves or something to get real fancy. I can do whatever this is. I can pull my blues up maybe a little. And really finagle with this to make it really what I want. Turn my reds down. You know, really play with it to like really make this, you know, make it a little darker. So I could play with this to like make it nighttime or something, add some shading, add some lighting. I don't know. Play around with it to figure this out. So, but yeah, I don't know how much more stuff I can do. I can add like some glow or bloom or something. You know, so many other like filters and stuff I can add onto this to make this cooler. but yeah. Let's go to Tochi's time and talk even more for a bit. Phew. Alrighty. Well, let me close this so I'm not still looking at it. Get it off my screen. Alrighty. Well, yeah. Well, yeah. Thank you guys for watching. If you have to leave now, that's okay. Thank you guys for watching. Yeah. See you, Dakota, if you're leaving now. But yeah, it's nice to be back. If you haven't heard or just missed out, I had a somewhat longish half a week vacation. I had a family reunion with cousins and aunts and uncles and whatnot. People I haven't seen in good long while, or never in person. So I had a real good time. That's why the last stream on Saturday was canceled. Because I was busy with that. So I think around that time I might have just flown in. So yeah, I would have had to do it on the hotel Wi-Fi or something. But yeah, my grandpa had a little problem with their Wi-Fi. He actually got a virus or something on his laptop that he connected. He connected it to the hotel Wi-Fi, and then went to a website or something, and then it said like, Microsoft would like your password. You know, please enter your password now so we can fix your problem that you have gotten. Please call us now. And so thankfully my grandpa was smart to be like, oh, that doesn't seem right. Maybe I should ask, you know, my dad for technical support and be like, hey, they want my stuff. Should I give it to them? And so dad was able to talk and say like, don't do that. So yeah. So but yeah, I think that happened. Yeah, my grandpa flew in, or like he actually drove. How many miles was that? So a long while. See you, Judd. Thank you. He drove separately, but we flew. But he got there a day earlier. And then he got the virus like the day. So when we got there a day later, we were like, okay, let's just use, you know, our 4G, you know, not connected to any hotspot or anything. Let's just, you know, we'll use the data, but whatever. It'll be fine. So, but yeah, it was really fun. A lot of little family activities that we did. I don't know. I expected it to be like more, because I saw like some old, like real old family reunions videos that my grandpa shared, and it just looked like some basement in a church where like 80 to 90-year-olds just kind of sat on tables and just kind of talked. And it's like, oh, okay. I don't know. And then they said like there was gonna be a picnic or something. And I was like, okay, we'll just kind of hang out outside, I guess, and have a barbecue or something. But no, it was really fun. A lot of my cousins are around my same age as me, but and it was nice to yeah, actually interact with them. Let's see, thank you. But yeah, I had a lot of fun. We had some nice dinners and lunches. I went to Culver's, I think that's it, which is very Midwest that I had no idea what it was. But it seemed like a Dairy Queen kind of burger joint with a bunch of other stuff. Apparently my cousins love cheese curds. It's like I've never heard of that. So one day we went to a big restaurant. We filled up like 3 tables worth. You know, you always had to stack them up together when we had like 12 people. So I was like, okay, let's put 3 tables together for everyone. And then we just got a whole round of, a whole bunch of buckets of cheese curds, which are like deep fried cheese or something. Like mozzarella cheese or something. And it's like, that's not bad. It's like, yeah, I could see, this kind of greasy cheese. It's like, okay, it's good. I liked it. Yeah, don't feel like I'm missing anything. Don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. But it's like, oh, okay, that was good. Got a bunch of burgers there. But yeah, we mostly just kind of hung out. I think most of us were at the hotel. Sounds like we were all able to just go into like the lobby or a couple different hallways and stuff. It was just a bunch of talking. It was like really fun. And of course, I said like earlier that I went to a bunch of cemeteries and just kind of drove around. It was really fun. So a bunch of history and a bunch of early 1900s, 1800s kind of history there. Seeing everything. So I can probably take a bunch of inspiration from that little trip, and maybe I can use that for some of my projects later. I don't know if it'll be useful for anything immediately, but maybe in the back of my mind to be like, oh yeah, remember how that's kind of laid out or something? So I think it'll be useful. Maybe like during like drawings or something, like landscape drawings, I'll know not to, use the default, Bob Ross landscape where there's always a hill or a giant mountain and some evergreen trees, pine trees or something. It's like, oh, there's also farms, which are very flat. So it's like, okay, yeah. Yeah, so it's all fun. I had a good time. Let's see. For next week, let's see. I was thinking of doing Passport 2 too. I think I got it. I can double check to make sure that I do have it. I think I bought it. But then haven't played it yet. I'm updating Steam just to make sure. But yeah, I'll make sure that that's all squared away. But I had a lot of fun with the first Passport 2. The video game where like you're a starving artist and you gotta draw a bunch of pictures. Like you gotta draw the pictures, and it's fun to try and see what the customers there kind of like and dislike. So I was like, okay, I can try and draw it with more red this time for that customer to like it better. Oh dear, everything's changed. Stop updating. Ah, jeez, I don't care. Okay. Yes. Okay. Apparently I have a 400 megabyte update on it right now. Okay, it's doing it. But looks like I got it. Good. Okay. So, okay. I don't know how big of a game this is. I haven't launched it yet, so I'm not sure if this will take, 2 streams, 5 streams, 10 streams. Like, is this a full campaign or something? I don't know, but it looks more grand and more interesting. Yeah, ready to finally get on this. I know it's been a couple months since it came out, but it's like I wanted to make sure that I'm ready. So get everything else out of the way. Like wanted to get Mario out of the way and then a couple of these other holidays and stuff. So yeah, I'm excited for Passport 2 too now for next week. So we'll see how long that takes to. Because I think I got one of the endings of Passport 2 1. So yeah, that only took like 3 or so hour-long streams. So I'm kind of scared because this one seems more grand. So anyway, that'll be the next topic. So alrighty. But yeah, glad to be back. Had a nice change of scenery. And then recharge the batteries. So I don't know if I'm getting a little bit of a cold, but I'm think I'm fine. I'm scared to catch anything. Anyway, rambling. Let's stop that so I can actually get back to work on working the animation again. So, but yeah, thank you guys so much. It's always a pleasure to be with you guys. really like talking with you guys. It's really, really fun. But yeah, I will see you again next week at these times. So thank you again. Thank you, Cookie. Thank you, everyone. And yeah, see you again next time when we play Password 2 or so. Thank you, guys. All right. Bye-bye.